The biblical story of the flood describes a moment unlike any other. The world, undone by violence and corruption, is reset through judgment. Only 8 people remain. From these 8, the world must begin again. Whether you believe the story is literal or not, this claim that the whole earth was repopulated from one family is central to the Bible's view of history. But is it plausible? Let's consider the question before we encounter the story in full. Not to prove it beyond doubt, but to ask whether it deserves a fair hearing. From a modern standpoint, rebuilding the human population from just 8 survivors might seem impossible. But history tells us otherwise. After the Black Death wiped out more than half of Europe, some regions doubled in size in just over a century. In colonial America, small founding populations exploded within a few generations. Not because conditions were easy, but because people were determined to survive, multiply, and build. Let's take a conservative model. If each couple has 4 to 6 children who reach adulthood, and if each generation spans about 25 years, the numbers grow quickly. Even with setbacks, disease, famine, hardship, just a 1.5% annual growth rate would result in over 1 million people in 500 years. That's not speculation, it's mathematics, and it matches patterns seen throughout history. This explains why we find cities, trade networks, and written languages appearing across the ancient world within centuries of when the Bible places the flood. Genesis 10 lists the descendants of Noah's sons, a table of nations. It presents a world already branching out into cultures, tongues, and territories. We're not asking you to believe it blindly, but we are asking, is the idea that all humanity came from a single post-flood family at least reasonable if taken on its own terms? The answer is yes, and that answer matters. Because if it's reasonable to take the repopulation seriously, then perhaps the flood story itself deserves the same kind of attention. Not as myth, but as a meaningful event with theological consequences. In the next episodes, we'll explore how that population grew, where it went, and how the story of dispersion, not destruction, shapes what comes next.